welcome to another episode of Mick and the Fat Man, coming to you live from the Mick and the Fat Man studios, where we are talking life, music, and everything. Well, welcome everybody to Mick and the Fat Man Series 3, episode number 15. G'day, Mick, and happy rock and roll to you, sir. How are you travelling?
Mate, I am just travelling fantastically. I'm living the dream, and particularly over the last couple of episodes where we raised our quotient of female artists that we talk about quite enormously. You know, we're starting off with talking about Nico 4 episodes ago, and then last time we talked about Marianne Faithfull.
And we had Pampered Menial, and he sounds like a chick, so that's similar.
Can't go wrong, can you?
We've got it all nailed, well and truly.
But there's no answer to that, is there?
Speaking about blokes that sound like a chick, one of our more recent shows, we talked about concerts that we've been to, and we talked about quite a few. And you mentioned just in passing that you went to see Justin Bieber with your son, and he's a big fan of Justin Bieber. And I think you mentioned to me just in passing that basically that you think that the Justin Bieber concert was both musically and visually a feast for the senses. And indeed you compared it favourably to the David Bowie concert that you saw quite a few years ago. So I was just wandering around YouTube just the other day, as I do.
As you do. And
I found a couple of little snippets of Ricky Gervais talking about young Justin, and I'll play the first one. So this is one where Ricky's being interviewed at a radio program in the States about Justin, who made a couple of Twitter entries about going to see the Anne Frank house in Amsterdam. So let's just have a listen to this.
Before we move on with that whole Anne Frank thing.
That was amazing, wasn't it?
Unbelievable.
I couldn't believe my luck.
Yeah.
So he went to Anne Frank's house. And to be fair, he's a young kid.
Right.
And, he went to Anne Frank's house and apparently he spent an hour looking around and he was fascinated, and that's great, okay? And also he had to sign the guest book.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? That's pressure. I get it from autograph hunters, and they say, can you say something funny? And you think, wow, I want to sit down and put some glasses on and go, right, funny? And I want to spend time on it,
Right.
And so, he's a kid, he's under pressure, and he writes, Anne Frank sounds like a great girl. Right.
Yeah, which is hilarious enough. Right
I know. Yeah, great girl. Yo, for Anne. Yo, Anne.
Like a great girl.
Shh, keep it down. Is that you, Justin? Yo, Anne, it's Justin. Shush, keep it down. Right? So he writes, yeah, this Anne sounds like a great girl. Hopefully she would have been a believer. Can you...
It's just unbelievable. How stupid can you be?
Yeah.
What the hell?
And so I tweeted...
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure Anne Frank would have been a believer. He does music that is absolutely perfect for being played really, really quietly, so no one can hear it. Yeah, and then I started doing things like, Joan of Arc, you were a great girl. Hopefully you were a Gervaithius. But you know what? He's a kid. And everything's under scrutiny these days.
Yep.
Can you imagine people finding the things you wrote on a school desk?
Exactly.
When you were 19.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it?
Oh, God, that Ricky Gervais, it's a wonder more people haven't tried to kill him. But what's funny, he was talking there about, it sounded like he was saying believer, but for those of you who aren't up on the
Justin Bieber.
Sorry.
Those of you who aren't up on the Justin Bieber oeuvre would not know that the term for his fans is belieber. So,
right.
Yeah, so Anne Frank would have been a belieber.
That's right. Is that you, Anne? Shh, 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 keep it down, keep it down. That was funny. Keep it down. Perfect music for listening in the Anne Frank house. You can't hear it. Anyway, I've got another one here from the Golden Globes. It's 2012, but it's still it's still good fun.
Justin Bieber nearly had to take a paternity test. What a waste of a test that would have been. No, he's not the father. The only way that he could have impregnated a girl was if he'd borrowed one of Martha Stewart's old turkey basters. Open wide.
Open wide. Oh, dear.
It's a bit cruel.
Oh, he's pretty vicious, Ricky Gervais. He's fearless about what he says.
He doesn't care.
No.
He just doesn't care. But Martha Stewart's old turkey basters. Christ almighty.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Thank you, Justin, for existing. And I hope beyond hope that he comes and tours in Australia again so you can go and see him again.
Well, Oliver, I think, would want to go and see him. So, God, I think I might have escort duty, unless I can con someone else into doing it.
Or maybe you're probably better off hiring an escort to take him.
Oh, no, I couldn't get anyone to take that work. It'd be a horrible job.
Anyway, so I'm sure he would love it. Anyway, I'm sure you would love it as well. So let's move on to 1001 albums we must hear before you die, sir. I went to page 562, and I went to which is So by Peter Gabriel, produced by Peter Gabriel and Daniel Lanois, the Canadian. Artwork by Peter Seville, 46 minutes and 30 seconds. Up in the charts, it was high. In Australian charts, I should say, got to number 5, was there for 71 weeks, which is interesting. It was by that stage his most successful album in Australia, basically. And he worked on it with Daniel Lanois, who was basically an Eno disciple, worked with Eno on Unforgettable Fire by U2. Interesting. It's interesting. So this is a period of his time when he started getting into the global music scene and was involved with
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and he was involved with what was that concert in South Australia?
WOMAD
and all that sort of stuff. He was involved in that around the world music, and he started to bring a few different musos into the band. So he had Usain Dor, an Indian violinist, a French Ivory Coast drummer.
Something wrong with the vinyl in your mouth. It's skipping a lot.
And a Brazilian percussionist. So it was all very, worldy. Anyway, I think the most interesting thing about this album, let's just get your view on the album first, Mick.
Mate, I think Peter Gabriel. How can you do any wrong? He is a fabulous artist, and I love all of the faces of his work. But this album, on the string of 4 successful albums, all called Peter Gabriel, this is his first overt move to conquer the US market, and I think 1, successful, 2, terrific.
Probably not your favourite album though in the Peter Gabriel world. So, but
good enough though. Gee,
I think the thing is when from my point of view, when you think, I mean, I love the album nonetheless, but when you think of something like Biko and The Intruder,
yep,
and those 2 songs which are really so different compared to what really is a more commercial album.
This album certainly is, yeah.
Yeah. But what does this album have that his previous albums didn't have?
Great videos.
Film clips. Sensational film clips.
Yep.
And we've talked about this before.
And I think you'll find that's very topical today, yes, with our subject matter for the feature for this episode.
But, I mean, you've got... If you can get a duet with Kate Bush on her album, you're doing pretty well, aren't you?
Well, this is his second duet with Kate Bush.
What was his first?
She was on Games Without Frontiers on an earlier album. Yeah, that was number 3, was it? Number 3. Yes,
that was a single too, wasn't it? Was she singing on that? Was she?
J'ai sans frontières.
Oh, that was her.
Yeah.
There you go. They must be buddies.
I'd say they are. Yeah, good friends.
They like to chat about washing machines and stuff like that.
Don't you?
Yeah, everybody does.
Who doesn't?
But that was a great song. Big Time, another one of those great songs. Run us through a few of the songs that you think rate.
The whole album rates, and you're right about film clips. And I'll come back to that in a minute. But it generated 4 singles, and each of them is a classic piece of work. Perhaps not as edgy, and you know I like edgy, as some of his earlier work. But yeah, hey, man's got to eat. Don't Give Up, a lovely ballad, a duet and a ballad with Kate Bush. So that was their first collaboration since Games Without Frontiers. So it's gone a while, a couple of years before recording formally with Kate again. Big Time. Peter Gabriel's a bit of a serious young insect. You know, you look at the subject matter of his songs and what he sings about is the subject matter. The lyrics that he uses, the various combinations of words, and he uses a lot of imagery and so on and so on. Like Shock the Monkey. Shock the Monkey's about jealousy. Which I certainly didn't bloody know, and I couldn't have picked that from the lyrics. It's obscurity is one thing, but real obscurity takes talent.
That's doing monkeys.
So, yeah, I thought it was about Michael Jackson. Yeah,
primates.
Yeah, but he's a very serious artist. But occasionally, and on this album, he lets his sense of humour show. Big Time. You look at the lyrics for Big Time. Usually they're obscure without a clear meaning, but he says, the place where I come from is a small town. They think so small they use small words, but not me. I'm smarter than that. I've worked it out. I've been stretching my mouth to let those big words come right out.
Had enough.
Yep, I've had enough. Yes, he goes on. And live, the choreographed dance moves that his band does for this song.
It's great.
Yeah, it really is. Tony Levin on bass and others stepping their legs over each other as they move forward, you know, to play this song.
And Levin's got some legs, hasn't he?
He's got very long legs. And that's hilarious. It's good choreography, but it's hilarious given the seriousness of Peter Gabriel. Yeah, it's really, really very good. In Your Eyes, another lovely song. But Red Rain, I think that's probably the most similar to the stuff that he'd been doing on earlier albums. Red. Yeah, because he's got a wonderful voice. He's got a lovely, smooth voice, but it's got a rough edge to it. And he really lets that rough edge come to the fore in Red Rain. What it's about is anybody's guess. But the roughness to his voice really gives something special. The album, look, it's one of the early examples of Peter Gabriel's move to world music, as you say. Manu Katché on drums. That's sort of staggered Europe, African type of drumming that he's got. The album, increasingly his albums move to a more rhythm focus. Yeah, the last album before this, number 4, the one that was called Mudman or Security, depending on what you know, he wrote the rhythm first. Okay, right. So he was moving towards a rhythm type of sound, and so he's moved to those people, Manu Katché, Youssou N'Dour, very, very African, Asian rhythms, Middle Asian rhythms that he's looking for on the album, and he achieved it. They're great songs, singles. They connected with his audience. So he didn't lose any fans. Well, not many, I wouldn't have thought. Didn't lose any fans, but he certainly collected a whole lot of new ones.
All right, new ones, that's for sure.
Yep. He jettisoned a number of people on this album, in particular the drummer. And no one could ever accuse Jerry Marotta of being a slouch, who was his previous drummer over all of his stuff since he left Genesis. And he was really, really good. And he was quite put out when Gabriel basically let him go for this album. He said, there's nothing Manu Katché can do that I can't do. So he really, really was very put out indeed that Gabriel had fired him. This album started the process of breaking him in America. He'd had a sort of cult following, but probably dating all the way back to Genesis. He was a bit too weird for the US. What sort of idiot names his albums the same name? Every single one of them.
That's right. Yeah. With weird covers on them.
Yeah, well, exactly. So this one dropped that practice of calling all of his albums Peter Gabriel, and so Americans didn't have to be so confused about which album they were actually buying.
It's a sad indictment, isn't it?
It is indeed. Film clips. I don't want to dwell a lot on film clips because of the subject matter of this episode, and we'll come to that shortly. But the clip for Sledgehammer, just astounding, with a railway track being built around his head and a train running on it.
It's stop motion
stuff. Yeah,
fantastic.
Really fantastic. So I went into one of my favourite record shops ever, and certainly at that time that had introduced me to a lot of music, was Red Eye. It was what used to be known as an import shop until that became irrelevant.
Yeah.
And it was still a cooler than thou record shop. And I walked in there, and it was in the middle of Sydney. I'm a regular, and Chris greets me with, "Have you seen the clip for Peter Gabriel's new song?"
Is that right?
Yeah, in a really cool
wow.
record shop. And I thought, yeah, Peter, you've made it. Yeah, when
wow.
these guys are watching and talking about your clip.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting.
It is indeed. Look, the album itself, 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, 5 out of 5. Hell, it's a great album. It really is very, very good. If you want to hear more about Peter Gabriel, I think people should go back and listen to episode 14 in season 2. Because we did a whole episode after the masks. We talked about Peter. It's arguable that he never really dropped the masks, particularly as he went to these great film clips, which projected an image over him.
Yeah.
So he's gone from physical masks that he wore when he was in Genesis to visual masks that he put on TV. So who knows? But either way, he did it beautifully, he did it wonderfully, and he did it artistically, which is all that Peter Gabriel could do.
And he's touring in America. Hopefully he doesn't need Marianne Faithfull to help him out with cares, with his daily cares.
No, he's
still okay, I think.
Let's hope he's in better physical form than Phil Collins.
I hope he is, or Graham Nash, or George Thorogood in particular.
Well, George is cactus at the moment, so he's had to cancel his tour. But Phil had to finish his last concert on a chair on stage.
Yeah.
Which is all a bit sad.
Which he can't drum anymore, which is all very sad.
He hasn't been drumming for quite some time.
No, that's right. Well, in fact, not at all. He has a great voice and that sort of stuff. But I think you said just recently that Peter Gabriel went to Phil's last concert, didn't he?
Yes, yeah.
It's nice.
As a bit of a reunion, they got together afterwards, had a couple of glasses.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Very pleasant.
A nice Pinot from the South Island of New Zealand.
Catered by you.
Had a nice, very nice Pinot, I would have thought. I don't think they'd want to... I don't think they want anything more heavy than that. Oh, they might have had a Bordeaux, I guess, or a Burgundy, which is, of course, is a Pinot.
I can hear the Twilight Zone music playing.
Nice Burgundy. Grand Cru from Burgundy, and maybe a little Chardonnay as well. Kick off with the Chardonnay. Move on. A little field of nibbles from somewhere. Don't know what. Something nice. Don't know where the concert was. Any idea? No. Because... If it was
I'm looking at you in amazement, thinking we're going through a time zone here. We're in a time warp. We've gone back to an episode from last season where we created our own supergroup, and you spent the whole bloody episode talking about how we'd cater it and where we'd get the food from.
Well, that's important because, as we've learnt from the last show, that catering is even getting more and more important as these superstars get older. We know for a fact that
that's not catering. That's healthcare.
They have different requirements. Some of them, the swallow's not as good, so they have to have thickened fluids and a pureed diet and those sorts of things. That can't chew. The teeth are gone. Teeth are shot. So someone's got to sort it out for them.
Yeah, so they got to get their amphetamines ground into their gruel.
That's it. Marianne's there, bloody helping out. Kate might be there helping. Her son's older now, so she's probably got time on her hands to go.
She's of an age too.
Yeah, she is. She did a concert. What was it, last year or the year before? Might be the year before actually. Did 4 concerts or something like that in the Hammersmith.
What a workload!
I know. They just sold out in like 3 minutes. Yeah.
Easily.
Anyway, well, so thank you. We like Peter Gabriel, so we'll have So up there for you to have a listen to. Great album. Fantastic album. We'll have it there for you to have a listen to. I think we should move on, Mick, because the globite looks a little bit extended. It looks a little bit big. It must be a big topic in there today. What do you got in?
It's a big topic, and I think we'll make it big time.
Oh, what are we going to do? Get it out.
Let's
Get it out. Unclick it. Hold on.
Here's your sound effects.
Here's your click. How's that?
Oh, look,
it's
and it just opened like that.
It's getting better all the time, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's have a chat about Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Whoa, what a great album.
It is a great album. It's not the sort of album that people might ordinarily think that that you and I might listen to and talk about. But it is an awesome album. And as we'll talk today, it's historic and it completely changed the direction of rock and roll. Now, how did I get here today? How did we get here today?
You drove.
I drove, yeah. And while I was driving, I was reading this book.
You do.
Yeah, because the traffic was so slow. I just sat behind a truck and away we go.
Yep.
I've been reading more of the book. We talked about a couple of episodes back about the book Number Ones by Tom Brahan, songs that have changed the rock and roll world. There's
after
we
did a show about number twos.
No, yeah, I know, yeah. It was sad.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I put a link into the show notes for this episode for people who want to order that book or an audio book for people who can't read because it really is probably one of the most informative, really not just informative. Lots of books can have facts, but this guy really knows how to put things together in a line and link everything you think you know about rock and roll together into a really entertaining story where you go, oh, that's how that works. It's terrific. Anyway, so he's got a chapter in this book about Michael Jackson's song Billie Jean, which was the first black number one hit in Billboard.
Was it really?
The first.
The first.
Absolutely extraordinary stuff. And he does this. You know, he's got 20 chapters of these songs all being the first of something. We talked about the Human League, and we talked about something else. I forget the other one that we talked about out of this book. But it really was very, very interesting. I thought the chapter on Billie Jean in his book was really very fascinating. But I thought, let's go a bit deeper and look at the whole album Thriller and how a single album by a guy who was well known at the time, but absolutely shattered world records in almost every category for music, that came out and was so huge when we were young. So many songs that were so groundbreaking in almost every way, and stuff that I just did not know. So in Australia, and look, I presume the UK, it was certainly a huge hit in the in America, but I don't know that they referred to him as Wacko Jacko.
Not at that stage.
Yeah. Certainly, the Australian irreverence meant that Michael had done a few things to earn the title.
Had we started calling him that by that stage?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think he was still relatively normal.
I think so. Well, maybe relatively unknown.
Oh,
but let's talk about how he got there.
Yeah. Come on, he had Ben.
The two of us need look no more. We've both found what we're looking for. A rat that can eat your face when you die. There's nothing like doing an interview holding a monkey to create a wacko impression.
True. Or one of your children over the balcony.
Oh, that was later after he got rid of the monkey.
That's when he really started.
Yeah, that's when he was really
that's when I got after I got rid of the monkey.
Nevertheless, people think of him, particularly here and in England, they think of him as Wacko Jacko, but his impact and his talents are too great for that to be a real slur. It was almost an affectionate nickname in Australia. Before the album Thriller, Michael was part of the Jackson family. The father, Joe Jackson, ruthlessly drove. He had 9 kids, and he ruthlessly drove the group by their father to become a huge hit. The Jackson 5. There's no one on earth who hasn't heard of the Jackson 5.
No.
But he used to bash and yell at his children until the routine was perfect for each of their songs. Now, you would have seen back early in the day how they would dance together on stage, choreographed moves, all of that sort of thing, and they're singing. 5 young black guys all singing and doing extremely well, but he was harsh with them, to say the least. Yeah. He used to call Michael Big Nose, which really goes a long way to giving us some clue as to why Michael had a predilection for plastic surgery.
Yeah.
You know, when his own father, the person who's supposed to be really good to him, is just putting it on him for physical attributes that he probably inherited from his father anyway.
Interesting.
Because Jackson obviously had a big job done on his nose, where it became
many.
Well, his nose, instead of being the bulbous, almost stereotypical nose, he had it changed to a very pointy.
A point.
Nose. Yeah, a point. Yeah,
It was weird.
Yeah,
It looked fucking weird.
Yeah. And when you know about how we got there, that's really sad. You know, I feel for the guy. He fired his father later as his manager when he around the time of Off the Wall.
Oh, was he still his manager, was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, so I ain't putting up with this anymore. Yeah, so, but before that, he'd increasingly become the focal point for the band. He was writing, and by the time that he left, by the time that he went off on his own career, he was the focal point for the band, writing this stuff. He was the man.
Yeah.
Right,
He was punching out some of the dance moves by then as well.
dance moves and writing the best of their songs, arguably.
Yep.
Right. I can remember as far back as 1969 seeing Michael singing "I Want You Back" with the groups, with his brother, with his brothers. I thought he was pretty good then. I thought, that's a nice song, a nice poppy song. In 72 was Ben. He had his first solo single. You know, being the two of us need look no more.
Only got to 65 on the Australian charts. It was only in for 10 weeks.
Oh, well, maybe there's a lesson in there that songs about rats that'll eat you when you die aren't the panacea to chart success.
That's right.
He was in 78. He was in a movie called The Wiz, which was a black version of The Wizard of Oz.
So he was.
He was indeed. And you had Diana Ross as Dorothy. Miss Ross. And this exposed him to filmmaking as a separate aspect of entertainment. You know, he'd seen, we'll get filmed for TV for our dancing and and our shows and so on. But filmmaking as an exercise, The Wiz was an eye-opener for him. He and it greatly influenced him and the way he did things later on. Yeah.
Yep.
His influences all of the great black artists, the Temptations, James Brown.
Yep.
But he also loved show tunes. Really, he could see the fun of a show tune embedded within a complete musical,
right.
and love them and watch them. And don't forget, he'd been in music since he was 5. So all of this was all just in his blood. He was just totally infused with it. In 1979, he released Off the Wall. And he worked for the first time with Quincy Jones, who we've talked about before as one of the great producers.
One of the greatest.
And he really is. And when we talk about what Quincy Jones did with Thriller, you'll see how great he was. Really, really very good. But despite his success, his growing up in such an insular atmosphere, he was brought up in a bubble, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
He was very lonely. Despite all of his money and fans, he had no social skills and no real meeting people and going out and talking to people in a friend's way. No social skills. Didn't drink.
But you've seen him interviewed. They're weird interviews. He didn't do very many.
He didn't have any skills for talking to people.
I know, they were weird interviews.
Yeah. In his upbringing, he didn't do all the things that normal kids do from 5. You think what your kids do, what we did. I don't know about that, but
I used to be in a band with my brothers from the age of 5. My father was a bit of a bastard, but I don't know. I seem to have gone on quite well.
Yeah, Bubbles, come over here. Oh, look, your nappy's fallen off.
That was his monkey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Far out. That's right. The monkey used to shit in the house.
Yeah.
It worked.
A weird arrangement. So he goes on.
So many.
And in 1982, he released Thriller. Now, Thriller, by anybody's criteria, whether you're a heavy metal head or love folk music or whatever, it is a stunning album. It's a wonderful tour de force, but it's not black.
No.
It's not. Well, it's not black, and I don't mean that as any negative. No. This was very deliberate. He didn't want a black song, a black album, because when he did Off the Wall, even you look at the cover pictures, the cover picture of him on Off the Wall, he's got a normal face, he's got the black afro haircut, and then you go 3 years later to the cover on Thriller, he's got that pointy nose and he's got straightened hair and he's got lightened skin. He's not black.
He still hasn't gone all the way.
He hasn't. No. He continued to have surgery.
He's still dark at that point.
Yep.
He's still dark. You look at the film clip.
Yep.
He's not white yet.
I know. But you can see there's even between Off the Wall and Thriller, there's a world of difference.
Yes.
So he wanted an album. He wanted the album to be an enormous success, but it couldn't be because he was black. Right, so he wanted it to cross musical genres and categories and radio station formats. Don't forget that the US and Australia, to a large degree, probably England too, I can't say with any certainty, was I'm a black radio station. I'm an alternative radio station. I'm a top 40 hits radio station, and never the twain shall meet.
Well, I don't think we certainly didn't have black radio stations out here back in those days.
No. And if it became a hit, it got played on the radio, but it had to become a hit. It didn't get played there and then become a hit.
It's only relatively recent times we start seeing Koori radio and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But that's very recent.
Yeah. It was also a backlash against disco, so he couldn't be, because much of Off the Wall was disco.
Yeah,
and it was good, but disco was gone. Disco was dead. People were sick of it. They didn't want people up there dancing, telling us how they were born to be alive. It was all gone.
Disco was never going to survive because it was such a narrow band of music. It had stripped out all the interesting stuff out of the genre and given you this very narrow view of music.
Absolutely.
So it could never be. It had to become something other than disco in order to survive, which it didn't. People just went off and did their own thing. So,
Yes, exactly. And didn't it spawn an interesting collection of different types of music? German music, to say, not least. That German keyboards, Giorgio Moroder. Oh, he was Italian, but it was identified as German sound because it was keyboards.
He thought of himself as a German.
He did, yeah. He wished he had been born in Hamburg.
Yep, he loved Luftballons.
Well, he wasn't able to quantify it. Couldn't put a number on it, and somebody else beat him to the punch.
He was going to do 98. It just wasn't going to work, was it?
So Michael Jackson wanted an album that was a huge hit. And
no
again,
balloons.
Yeah,
no balloons on the album.
No balloons at all. No Giorgio Moroder.
Yep.
No, nothing. He wanted an album where every song was a killer. It was pretty much the style then, that you'd have a great single and the rest of the album, the songs weren't quite as important. So he wanted an album where every song was a killer. I mean, people used to say, all killer, no filler. And I know Jerry Lee Lewis used to brag that about his albums. I don't know how true it was, but because I'm no great aficionado of Jerry Lee Lewis. But that was a great expression. Every song you'll love. It's really good. So Quincy Jones had worked on Off the Wall, and he deliberately made songs with Michael that went across formats.
Yeah, right.
You know who the band was playing on Thriller?
No.
You're going to be horrified. Toto. Yeah. Really, really awful. For Beat It, the song Beat It, Jones told Jackson to write a pop song like My Sharona.
Is that right?
Yeah. So he couldn't do My Sharona because he didn't have a girlfriend called Sharona.
Yep.
So he did Beat It instead.
Yep.
They methodically approached the whole album to tick all of the target category boxes.
Yep.
So one song does this, one song does another radio station, one song does another radio station until they were all hits. They weren't specifically blues or soul, which is common black-dominated categories. And they had a whole lot of different stuff. And Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson. I think he's great. I think he really is very good. This album's good. The next album, Bad, is also very good.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have called it Good. But what makes this album completely different to any other album is that the reason for the success of the album was the videos. Before this album, videos had pictures of the band and often people walking along a creek holding their girlfriend's hand or dreaming about lost love or whatever. Awful film clips.
Yeah.
Bohemian cheap film clips, yeah. Even Bohemian Rhapsody, which was hailed as a great film clip at the time. wasn't all that good, really. It was just different. And it used some special effects, but so what?
Because
it wasn't
really,
a great film clip.
What it was Freddie playing guitar, and then sort of the opera bit in the middle with them four of them standing around, and then really in the live look. So it still looked good, but it wasn't an inventive film clip.
Exactly. So Jackson, he saw himself more as an entertainer rather than just a straight singer. Okay, which is important distinction. Probably due to his upbringing, musicals, stage shows. He was a bit of a pioneer. He saw his video. He actually saw that his videos should have a life of their own and should be something that people would enjoy watching. He loved the musical parts in old movies. Like you got Singing in the Rain. There was recently a rebirth of Singing in the Rain where they toured it around the world.
And I just heard about that.
I saw it at the Opera House.
Oh, you saw it with all the water and everything.
And it bloody rained at the Opera House on stage. It was just fantastically done. Yeah. And
was Ginger there?
She was sort of a certain indefinable presence. And look, they completely replicated the movie, Rainstorm and all, and Jackson loved that sort of stuff, those songs from movies. It was not often that physical recreation of what happens in a movie happens, so they are a different type of art form, a different sort of thing. Queen, we've talked about Bohemian Rhapsody. They went the other way. They made this film clip and then replicated it live in concert. You recall that they jumped onto a stage that had all the flashing lights.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
Yep.
And they had theatre with the guitar amps and all that sort of stuff. It was quite good.
Absolutely. So Michael Jackson's his videos, which were an integral part of marketing and selling his album to be the largest selling album of all time, only recently eclipsed by the Eagles, into a serious art form. Billie Jean was okay, and I really enjoyed that film clip. However, the one that did it for me was Thriller.
Without doubt.
John Landis was huge at the time. He'd just done An American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, right.
So, and he did a lot of, not splatter movies, but really gory horror type films. And typically the video budget was about $50,000, which back then was a lot of money. They gave it the Thriller video had a budget of $1 million back then.
Which is interesting because I think I read that the album had a big budget as well.
$750,000 for the album.
And the film clip was bigger. But I mean, $750,000 would have been big as well.
It's $2.5 million in today's money.
Yeah, so that would have been a big album. Yeah. And the other person you didn't mention in this little spot here is Eddie Van Halen.
Yes, he was on Beat It. Yeah. So he used white musicians, but it was without sort of using them as white musicians, but using them because they weren't black, because he wanted to jump over those categories.
That's right. Because as you mentioned, he's doing a genre blend here of all different stuff, and not specifically black music.
Yep. Now, what's interesting, and I didn't know, and thank you, Tom, for pointing this out to me, is that it wasn't just radio stations that were effectively racist. It was MTV. MTV was fairly new, and they were playing white film clips. They didn't want to play black dancers. So CBS had to go to the table hard and threaten to pull all of their clips from MTV if they wouldn't play Thriller.
You're kidding me.
No, fair dinkum.
And it's such an amazing film clip because they're sort of the short version and the long version.
It's exactly what they do.
Yeah. It's just sensational.
Yeah. I thought it was a bit of an odd threat, sort of mutual self-destruction. If you don't play this one, we won't give you any of our promotional videos. Yeah. But nonetheless, it worked. And Michael Jackson became synonymous with awesome videos.
It's funny though, like no skin off their nose, MTV, just play it. What's it matter? But obviously this ingrained racism that my gut feel is they were worried about what their audience would think.
Oh, too right, yeah. Because they've started a big investment in the TV station, and they're going to play whatever the people listen to, but they're worried about Same as they are today.
And the people who have the money are the white people, and the people who are going to buy the records are the white people. So they don't want to offend the paying customers.
Same as Fox playing crap, Fox talking crap and telling lies that they knew were lies because that's what their audience wanted.
Because if they told the truth, the audience rings up and complains.
Yeah.
It's just when they called, which state was it coming? Which Wisconsin coming? Which state?
Georgia.
Whatever state they called during the election, they said that's gone to Biden.
Oh yes, yeah, that was
all their people.
Arizona.
Was it Arizona?
I think it was. Yeah.
They called it. They were the first. They were the first people to call the election because they were doing a proper, serious election coverage.
Yeah.
People rung in and said, "There's no way that's true." So they stopped. They said they put it back into doubt.
It's outrageous, isn't it? Yeah.
It's nonsense.
It's a funny country, isn't it?
It's getting funnier by the day.
Funnier by the minute, absolutely. So, look, the videos for Beat It, Billie Jean and Thriller. And then later on, Bad. You recall the one for Bad, which was sort of a gang fight.
Yeah.
They were far more elaborate than what anything else MTV was playing. And what MTV was playing was British clips because they were a bit artistic and had bands with some interesting music that weren't black.
I know, and I was watching some of these clips today. You know, Flock of Seagulls and Pet Shop Boys, and as I said to you, some of them like they're really expensive film clips, but they don't make any sense whatsoever. They're just nonsense.
Yeah. They're just a video representation of something to promote the single,
kind of like a video game, if anything. You know,
almost,
like just bizarre sort of shit.
But I've always, I mean, ever since writing this and thinking about this, hasn't it enormously added to the cost of promoting a single, particularly for a new band? You've got to have a great clip, and a great clip means you've got to outlay another couple of $100,000.
Are they still doing big clips? Because I assume they are.
MTV is still a top-rating cable TV station. Yeah. So you get the advance. Maybe people don't know this, but when you get an advance when you're a band and you get an advance from a record company label, it's just that. It's an advance. It's not pay. We'll give you $650,000 to be recouped out of sales of your album. So the first $650,000 you think you're getting, you've already got, and you're not going to get it. Same as if we're going to produce a video for you, that comes out of your advance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Jackson's already given up $2 million just about.
Just like that. Yeah. So it was a big call. It was a big call. The clips for Beat It and Billie Jean and Thriller, and I keep saying Thriller because the clip for Thriller itself, the song, just awesome. Particularly where he turns into a monster at the end himself. That's really great. It led to a major ratings surge for MTV.
Right, yeah.
So, they're not playing it because they think their audience doesn't want to see it, and then they're forced to play it, and holy ghost, the audience wants to see it because they think it's bloody terrific.
And some of the dance routines and some of that stuff is just sensational too.
It's the choreography he loves. He saw himself as an entertainer. It wasn't just the songs. No, songs are important, but the dancing. So, the moonwalk that he did, that debuted on TV. The moonwalk wasn't invented by Jackson. The moonwalk had been around for some time. It was known by a lot of artists for the previous 50 years. It was known as the backslide. People like Cab Calloway, Judy Garland, Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins. He did a moonwalk on the footpath where they had the guy doing the chalk art.
Yes.
Next time you're watching Mary Poppins,
I'll note it next time I'm watching it.
And there's Dick Van Dyke.
That's why you know this, isn't it?
I know all this stuff. I love Mary Poppins. You can't go past Mary Poppins. So there was a special in 1983, the first 25 years of Motown. It was called Motown, Yesterday, Today and Forever. Michael had a spot, and he was no longer with Motown, but Jackson 5 had been with Motown for quite some time, and Berry Gordy okayed him to do his new song.
Yeah, right.
That's where he debuted the moonwalk on Billie Jean. And people just went crazy for this bloody thing. He was all theatrical. His clothes were covered in sequins, and he's got this bloody hat on.
Yes,
you recall the hat that he wore?
I remember.
Fred Astaire apparently called him the next day to congratulate him and said, "You're a hell of a mover." So those clips, that was a great way to sell the songs. And the first ever album that had been sales driven primarily by the fact that they were bloody good, but primarily exposed to people on TV by film clips.
Insane.
But
I mean, like good, like really, really good film clips. I think that's the distinction we're making here. These are great film clips.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. Beat It. Yeah, like it's a homage to West Side Story. Yeah,
That's exactly right.
Yeah, these are not walking along the river looking at a flower thinking of your girlfriend. These are a story, a mini artwork all by themselves. They're really, really very good.
And I think Eat It is almost as good.
Yeah, I'll come back to that in a minute.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Vincent Price on Thriller.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an echo of the way he appeared in the Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper.
Yeah. Leaving Lepidoptera. Oh, please don't touch the displays, little boy, in that wonderfully cultured accent that he had.
It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was a friend of Quincy Jones's wife. That's how they reached out to him and made the contact. Yeah, yeah. So. And in the way where everyone knows where he is on Thriller, he does that little story and that narration, and that's wonderful. But in the Alice Cooper one, he does the Black Widow, which in Australia is the redback spider.
Yes.
And he says he describes the fact that the Black Widow kills and eats her partner once they've mated, and he says, "Oh, she is delicious, and I hope he was."
The Black Widow.
Indeed. So Beat It. This is the one that is written.
I must just go back there for a second because when you think about the Black Widow, and you just mentioned the redback is our version of that, we really rise to that sort of stuff because we had, there's redback on the toilet seat when I was there last night.
Yeah, but was the film clip any good?
I didn't see him in the dark, but sure I felt these. And I think that's almost as cultured as the Black Widow.
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah, think about it.
I think you're there, Jeff.
I might put that out. I'll put that song on the into the playlist for everybody to have a listen to. Right next, I will put the Black Widow in.
Everyone will thank you for that.
They will.
So what about Beat It? Yeah, Quincy Jones says write a pop song, write a pop song, with beat and rock energy. So Steve Lukather of Toto wrote it. And they got Eddie Van Halen to play it, and that's not black. That's not black music. No. So radio stations virtually had to play it.
Yeah.
So very clever, very well marketed, and then it's on a film clip of West Side Story.
It's really interesting. I never knew there was that much this layer of racism in the music world until, I probably could have thought about it if I really wanted to, but it didn't occur to me off the top of my head that that's what was going on.
Yeah. It's quite extraordinary because I suppose people will tell you that we have it here, or we had it here. Aboriginal artists probably have it. Yeah. There's not a lot of Aboriginal artists who get played a lot, but there's not a lot of artists in general who get played a lot. So our radio is not great.
King Stingray was one of the big bands last year, and they're Indigenous group.
There you go. Yep, fantastic. Yep. So Michael Jacko, he reset the playbook for image in music. Yeah, look, before him, image has always been essential. The Beatles, with their mop top haircuts and their matching suits and all that sort of gear, but it was just another thing, to help with the promotion. Jackson supercharged it. He really made it something important. And all the elements, you're dancing, the videos, the song, the cover, the photo of him in a white suit, a white Hugo Boss suit.
Yeah.
There he is. Here's this, for Americans, a black guy in a wonderfully tailored suit, and a white suit at that.
Yes, that's right. And his face, you're right. His face, he is lighter.
Yep.
His nose is narrower, definitely.
Oh, my word.
But not fully not pointy yet.
Yeah, my word. Look, in the pre-rock area, following his successful merging of all the different streams of art and entertainment, think who came after it? Madonna. Yeah, or Phil Collins. Perhaps he's not in the same calibre as some of these people, but he had some fantastic film clips. All of his film clips told a little story. Right? George Michael was a big user of film clips. Bruce, the boss, his film clips weren't sort of West Side Story dance moves,
no,
but they were still dancing in the dark. What is that? The one where he pulls the girl up from the stage? Yeah. Okay. Now, you say, oh, okay, it's just another live concert, but it was staged
Yeah.
as a story around a live concert, not
That's
just a
right.
film of the band playing.
That's right.
That sort of thing. So it's hard to imagine any of those artists being the success they were without the videos, because you can see them as
That's
they play.
right.
Yeah.
No, that's right. And it did transform the whole music industry, the whole production of high quality film clips. And I think that's the thing we're noting here. It's high quality film clips, not just shitty ones.
Yeah, not just the crap pictures that they had there before. Most of them were pretty ordinary, or they were a film of a band in concert.
I tell you, one of the worst film clips. You remember Doug Ashdown?
Did Winter in America?
Yes, the film clip of that. It's got to be the worst fucking film clip of him walking along beside a river. And that's it. That's it. And I think there's a flash to a young lady or something like that. And it's a pretty dull song anyway. It's inoffensive. But it's such a dull. It makes you want to think, oh, no, time for a snooze.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Yeah, I can remember that one.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can remember it.
Because it was obviously, it was often on Sounds Unlimited. It was often on there.
It's one of those things that they just put on. Oh, we need a filler.
Well,
God,
when you got
where's the tape for Winter in America?
That's right. Because if you got a long TV show, you need content. So
yeah, exactly. Look, do you remember? Look, in the pre-rock era, singers went into movies on the back of their careers. Jacko turned that around completely. The movies are your career.
Yeah, it's a good point, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it is very.
So I think he's a wonderful entertainer, and it's not bad company. It's not Rick Wakeman. It's not Supertramp. It's not any of the angsty-laden stuff that we've listened to in the past, although there's some pretty harsh themes in some of those songs when you listen to them, but it's completely different. But I've always liked Michael Jackson. Bad, the next album, is also very, very good. I know I keep saying that. It's a terrible expression. Bad is good. But he couldn't keep anybody happy. So he releases Bad, and it sold 35 million copies worldwide. Bad sales, not bad, but some hoped for more. That was a headline in the LA Times. I thought, get lost. What do you want for nothing?
Gee, we've got tall poppies. They take it to the next level.
You mentioned Weird Al Yankovic. You know you're a success. You know you're a cultural icon when Al picks you up and does a parody of your song. And he didn't do one, he did two. Yeah. So Weird Al Yankovic picked up Beat It.
Yeah.
And always remember that he didn't do this by stealing the song and then just copying it, which he could have done. Right, because it would have come under the parody aspects of the law. But he went to the label and said, "Can I use all your music?"
From my understanding, he actually talks to the artists and says, "Can I?"
He does. Yes.
Can I use your music? And they can say yes or no.
And he got knocked back by a few. And I thought, you stupid idiots!
Yeah, I know what an idiot you'd have to be.
You must be doing really well if you can't afford a bit more royalties coming your way for writing the song. So he picked up Beat It as one of his parody songs. It's basically another cultural acknowledgement of how big this album was, that Weird Al wants to cover it. If Weird Al wasn't going to cover it, it wasn't a big song. They needed to be big songs for him to do them. Look at the stuff that he's done. Beat It, it became Eat It, where a kid was how come you're always such a fussy young man?
Just eat it.
Just eat it.
Just eat it.
And then he went to Bad. And the film clip that Weird Al made for Bad was on a par with the film clip that Jackson had made for Bad. So Weird Al changed it to Fat. Yeah, there's Weird Al in a fat suit. He's like a globe
and
with legs.
Got awesome dancers as well.
Yes.
But you remember he actually expands into it. All his clothes fall off.
Yeah. You ain't fat. You ain't fat. And he did Like a Virgin.
Oh, did he?
He did it like a surgeon, cutting for the very first time. And, talking about ringing up the artist, he rang up Cobain and talked to him and said, "Can I do Smells Like Teen Spirit?" And he did Smells Like Nirvana. And he recreated the film clip. You've not seen it?
I don't think I have.
Oh, look it up. It is the funniest thing. In fact, that film clip, we should put that in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll put a link
couple
to
of those
it.
weird. So if Weird Al picks up your work, you know you're culturally important.
I just wanted to just mention quickly too. I was just looking at the Australian chart book. He had 34 singles in the Australian charts.
Yep.
Only 10 albums.
That's a big ratio, isn't it?
It's weird.
Is that him as Michael Jackson or with the Jackson 5?
The book only goes up to 92, so we're sort of,
Well,
but we're sort of there. I think we're kind of there.
yeah.
The sad demise of Michael Jackson was pretty sad, I must admit. You know, he was going to be doing his big Wembley shows, and he was practicing for those.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he had an overdose of propofol, which I thought was a little bit sad.
Yeah. Who knows where he would have been? You know, what would have been happening with his career, given the world-shattering stuff that he'd already done. Yeah,
I know, but he was a recluse and all that sort of stuff. So, but you know, he was. You know, you're in trouble when you have to have a sedative like that product to go to sleep at night.
That's not good, is it? Yeah.
It's intravenous. You have to have it intravenous. It's not,
Really?
It's not oral. It's not oral.
Oh no.
It's a short-acting anaesthetic agent that's used for short procedures in day-only surgery and things like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Propofol.
It's called.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a short-acting anaesthetic. It's great. Works really well, and it's also amnesic as well. So you actually don't remember anything like that.
Oh dear, that's a sad way to end up.
It is
for him.
It is,
and that's probably contributed to the fact that he's dangling the kid off the edge of the balcony. Wasn't even thinking.
That's right. I had day surgery just recently, and I could see them walking over because it's propofol because it looks like milk.
Oh, okay.
I could see them walking over to me with propofol. Oh, I'll be asleep in a minute.
Nice one. Oh, dear.
Anyway, he ended up. He really sort of took Wacko Jacko to the next level after some of this stuff, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Which is all a bit sad. But
his contribution to music, to the industry, to the stuff we listen to, he combined all these different artistic elements. The dance, the costumes, the songs, the movies, everything was there and all in one seamlessly done perfect parcel. Yeah, he was really, really very good. He broke the racial mould, crossing over in all sorts of categories. There might be black, there might be disco, but there's Michael Jackson. He'd almost have a station with the 34 singles playing Jacko.
And as you mentioned, he was this package, wasn't he? I would love to have seen one of his concerts. That would have been great because, he had the choreography, he had all the sensational music, the great musos, beautiful sets, and the gear that he wore was really he designed all that stuff. He's just a great mind, a great entertainment mind.
That's right.
But sad, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's gone, but his music's still played on the radio all the time.
On that note, thank you, Michael Jackson. Your music is gone. You have gone, but your music lives on.
Indeed.
Thanks very much, everybody.
See ya.
Bye now. Well, that's a wrap, and thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. It's free. And if you like this, tell your friends about us. Also, contact us at mickandthefatman@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks very much. See you next time.